Welcome to the end of the world. We're in the wasteland right now, and we're playing the Nukacraft mod. Absolutely everything has changed, and it's looking pretty barren. And we also have a two-headed mutant cow around here, so you know this place is absolutely full of radiation. I mean, you can literally see it. There's literally new ore here as well. So Nukacraft is a Fallout overhaul mod for Minecraft. We're on Minecraft 1.20.1 on Forge mode right now. This might be overwhelming to you because it looks completely different to vanilla, right? This mod has got it all. Overhauled world generation structures, particularly one of them which I'm inside right now, and plenty of wasteland enemies to fight. In fact, we even have an assembly workbench here, and if you've played the mod Mr. Crayfish's Guns, you'll be kind of familiar with this style. This is basically where we can craft all the weapons in the mod, most of which I'm going to show you in a little while in this showcase, but you can see there's some pretty incredible weapons you may notice from the game itself. All you need is the materials to craft it, and then you just assemble the weapon. Now these are split down into tabs, so we have pistols, we have heavy. I just want to scroll through these and show you the actual models because they may look a little bit different in first person mode. We also have attachments, so you can craft those individually. You can craft melee weapons individually, which I'll also show you too. This mod is of course quite heavily inspired mainly by Fallout 4, and also you can craft the projectiles themselves. So these are used in the weapons, and some of them are things like nades and explosives you can manually use. As well as that, we also have a power armor rack, I believe this is. We have these shelves, I guess we can maybe put some items on that. And these just naturally generate in the world, right? We can turn on this switch, this turns on the lights. Pretty incredible stuff. Now some buttons you may notice we can't use, I will explain that a little bit later. Some of them also have storage crates, and we can get Fallout themed items in these so we can actually loot them. We have pieces of steel. These are all shelves we can actually open and use, and we can use those for crafting. Forget about all this for now. We'll talk about the structures and other crazy things after. Now that I've showed you what's inside what looks like some kind of gas station, I want to show you the mobs, and we're in the perfect barren landscape to show you those because you've already seen that crazy mutant cow. We don't want to revisit that trauma. So of course we have creative tabs up here which we'll also look at, but first we want to look at the Nukacraft mobs. Now there doesn't seem like many, but what it makes up for with a lack of quantity is definitely a really great deal of quality. This is a high quality mod. So I'm sure you're going to be aware of these. The first one is the Raider. So obviously these guys are just in the wasteland themselves and they're armed to the teeth. If they're in Fallout 4, they have like pipe pistols and usually quite cheap weaponry. Now what's cool though is we're not running Optifine, by the way, but this mod does have texture variants. So if we spawn a ton of Raiders, most of them, obviously two do look the same. We're not going to get 100% unique ones, but most of them look different to each other, or at least a few of them, right? So we do have a little bit of variation. Now you will notice they do those annoying and grunts like villagers, which is kind of frustrating. It's making me want to kill them now. But what is cool is they'll spawn with different weapons too. So this eye patch pirate looking dude, he has a minigun, which is pretty epic, and so does this guy. And I don't know where he went, but we did spawn one or two which spawned as mutants. So I'm not sure if they disappeared because it's daytime. Oh no, one of them's over here. The other guy must have vanished. So this guy's spawned. I think this must be a super mutant version, right? I'm guessing this is supposed to be a super mutant version. We'll have to see if they have their own individual spawn eggs, but maybe super mutants are just a variant of the Raider mob. So we'll go to town with those later when we test our weapons. Next we also have rad roaches, which as you can see bullets are flying from over there. This super mutant or whatever he is does not like this rad roach. He's getting absolutely beamed. Here's the other one. This super mutant has a minigun as well. Let's see if they like ants as much as they like rad roaches. Well, that answers that question, I guess. So these ants, if they wouldn't be so rude as to kill them, I'll have to spawn a load. These are really nice models as well. Look how cool that is. Someone probably made that in Blockbench. We have bloat flies. Now, I honestly don't care if they kill these things because I absolutely hate them. Ugh, just look at them. Even the sounds are disgusting. Oh, damn. They're actually pretty OP. If these guys didn't have laser rifles, they probably would have slaughtered all of those raiders. Brahmin, I think that's how you say it. Brahmin are basically those mutant two-headed cows, which are arguably more disgusting than the insects, to be honest. Yeah, that's right, walk away. Then we have Deathclaws. Oh my god. The Deathclaw wanted some cooked beef by the looks of it, jeez. Deathclaws just want to be free, because as soon as I spawn them, they just walk away. If you didn't know, Deathclaws are kind of those weird, like, mutant, prehistoric looking creatures. They're kind of like something you'd expect from, like, the Jurassic era or something. You're gonna need a whole beefy power armor to kill this bad boy. Just look at those animations. So we also have mole rats. Well, you've seen these in real life too. They're pretty disgusting. I wouldn't want one of those in my house. That's for sure. Assaultrons. So if you want to go into robots here, let's just spawn a bunch of these, and then we'll spawn some more mole rats, and we'll just cause some absolute mayhem. Oh, dude. Even the sounds, so crisp. Look at how much like rat meat on the floor there is with all that leather. Also, we have Securitrons. I don't know why there's small versions. Maybe there is small versions in the game I don't know about. They actually look really cool, not gonna lie. Wait, oh, look at the wheels moving. Damn, they've really put effort into even the animations in this. So to actually access power armor, we first get a power armor frame, which we can put down, and then we need all the pieces. So for this T45 set, I have the helmet, the body, the arm pieces, and the legs. And then we just walk up to the frame, shift right click, and then we can view the inventory. So from here, we can either click and drag, or we can just shift left click and put all the pieces inside. And then when we press E, we have a full power armor frame. And also, there's a button here which literally lets you pick up the frame, and then you can place it back down with all the same gear on. So that's pretty useful. Now if you're wondering what this does here, this little box, that is actually because you do need a fusion core. We can drag the fusion core in here, and then if you look on the back now, it'll appear on the back here. That's because you need a fusion core to actually power up the armor so we can actually move around. And then all you do is right click to open up the set, and then we can enter it. And then now if we go in third person mode, we can now move around in the power armor set. We can even hold control to sprint and jump in the thing. We can go in first person mode too, because obviously you don't just want to see it in third person. If we go in first person, we've got the hood here, so we can move around. Now we have a big beefy power armor set. It makes a crazy bang as well when we drop from a height. We can jump a little bit higher, and if we really wanted, we could fight a Deathclaw. The only thing left to do now is to try and place a few of the different armor sets around. I can show you a few of them together. If you want to leave the suit, just press G, and it opens up and we can exit it, and then right click to re-enter. It's as simple as that. The only annoying thing is though, is it stays open when you leave it. But if we shift right click, just like when we access the inventory, we can actually close the suit again. Just like that. Also, I don't think I mentioned this, but if you literally just get a normal power armor suit frame, we can literally just enter that and actually move around in it, even though it doesn't have any set pieces in, which looks pretty funny. And also it moves really slowly because we don't have like any power or any actual armor pieces in it. So here's all the power armor suits in game. So most of them look very rusty. So we have the T45, the T51, and the T60 in sequential order. And then over here we have some real bad boys too. So from right to left we have the XO1, the XO2, and then the XO2 cryo suit, which looks far better. Now since the XO2 cryo is the only one which is steel blue instead of rusted metal, I'm just going to enter that one. Obviously the interface pretty much looks the same as you can see, but this suit looks awesome. Now it's moving slowly, right? Because we didn't put the fusion core in. Silly mistake. If we put the fusion core in, we can run like an absolute beast, and we can get some power to the suit. In fact, look how it looks front on in first person with that beaming sun behind us. It's like the end of an action movie running into the sunset. Let's try and melee one of these cows. Oh, okay. That was anticlimactic. I guess the power armor suit doesn't make us stronger at punching. So now I want to show you the other armor sets now that we've got the actual power armors out of the way. We have the Raider suit here on the right, and then the Excavator suit on the left. Now I've not seen this Raider set in game. I'm not sure if the Raiders actually wear this. I think I'm a little bit removed from the Fallout lore here. But this Excavator set looks awesome. Let's get inside this power armor set. I'm not going to bother putting a fusion core in it, but just look how awesome that looks. Some pretty crazy sets over here, right? If I just stand this in the lineup. Look how it looks when it's bending the knee. It looks like a gladiator. In fact, this reminds me of those big daddies off Bioshock. And the Excavator set too. Looks like some kind of hazmat suit for like a nuclear power station. But look at that lineup of power suits. Now, we're going to take a look at normal sets of armor. So first we have some wooden armor, then we have leather armor, we have the Vault Tech jumpsuit and the Vault Scientist gear, which we're going to be wearing this one in a moment. Next up we have the Raider gear. This is kind of like the power armor set, but as a normal armor set. Then we have the metal gear alongside the Trapper suit. The Trapper kind of looks like a diver, looks like the classical metal deep sea diving suit. And then last we have the Scout gear. Then we have the Vault Security set. I think you can also get this in Fallout 3 as well. This is the combat set, which looks very Brotherhood of Steel-esque. And then finally also the robot armor set too. Now I promised you that we we're going to wear the Vault Dweller set, but along with that too, we're going to put on a nifty little gadget that if you played Fallout, of course you'll know, and that's the Pip-Boy. So this is what the Pip-Boy looks like wearing the Vault jumpsuit in third person. But in first person it looks even cooler. Now as you can see, Nukacraft also has some pretty incredible structures. So this is the ruin structure, and you can see there's some pretty intense thick yellow fog around here. So in this structure there's just loads of random wooden crates and boxes, most of which we can't loot. This is literally just an arid ruin, that's the whole purpose. But some structures will spawn connected to each other, so you can see it's spawned right next to another one of those red rocket ones we saw from the start with a crafting table. But there's some other structures too, like you can see this is a monorail, so you can see it's a damaged monorail because obviously the track itself at the top does not really extend anywhere. But these abandoned monorails are just incredible, just look at them. Now that is a sight to see. But if we actually go down at the bottom on the ground where we find these, you can see yet again there's one of these panels inside. There's all these rusted blocks, there's barrels, but there's nothing really to loot. But you'll notice there's always a lower point on a lot of these structures that you can climb up. They've done this kind of thing where I guess there's no step on, so you just automatically walk up them, and you can kind of use these as just a parkour challenge. So you can walk up to the top and then you can see what's inside. Like look, there's some kind of chest loot inside, so we could just jump down and then, oh great, just my luck, nothing here, let's just drop down, and then you'd probably die, right? It's kind of like a lucky dip. You might get a surprise at the top, or you might get like a little parkour journey to get up there. So these are the monorails, and as you can see there's a few different variants of most structures, so I'll just show you one more. They're basically just the same, except the makeup's like a little bit different. So this doesn't have the whole parkour path that you can jump up and down on. This is just a little bit more bare bones. And then at the bottom you just have these scrap blocks everywhere as well, and I think these are mines. Oh, if you're in survival mode, you wouldn't have lasted long if you walked on that, I'll tell you that. There's also radio towers too, so these are quite nice structures you might be able to see from a distance. So there's not really too much to some of these structures, they're just kind of POIs, points of interest, that kind of just sit there. But they do decorate the landscape and make it more interesting. There's what looks like a computer here. I don't actually know if these are interactable, to be honest. Now, like I said before with the variants, this is a radio tower huge, so this is a huge satellite dish version of it. So this is also radio tower, but it's just a completely different version. And just like with the structure beforehand, there's also a big parkour kind of arc you can take part in on this as well, which goes all around the top, just like in the normal game. So if you've played Fallout, you'll know there's kind of a climbing element in the game as it is. In the base game, we can actually climb up these things and kind of explore. Oh, we're in a rusted house, and we actually got lucky this time. We got some actual items. We found some of that leather armor from earlier. We've even got some Nuka-Cola, which we can drink, and it gives us a speed buff. Some more leather, we have silver. So you might actually find loot if you get lucky. Sometimes you'll get absolutely nothing, sometimes you'll actually get loot. And then when we get to the top, we can actually jump up and then go up a ladder. We can climb all the way up to the top this time. And if you've got a little bit of parkour skills, maybe you play parkour servers, you can then actually get up into the satellite dish itself. And if you have a little bit of patience, we can get to the very tip of it, and we have kind of like a reward chest. I can't right click it. Let's try and break it with a pickaxe. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can just break it with a pickaxe. So we've got a black powder rifle, some wooden armor. This is what's called an overseer chest. And we've got some bottle caps. So you do get loot from those if you break them with a pick. So you've seen this is where we started at, this is where all of our power armor is, this is the red rocket structure. Now I don't want to show you every single variant of each structure, otherwise the video would go on for absolutely forever, but there are also a series of ruined house structures like this one too, and if you do find those, sometimes they'll come equipped with certain things we can loot as well, like pre-war money, bottle caps, pieces of lead, ash dust, just a whole bunch of containers. Then you might also find assembly workbenches in these as well. Now some of these buildings do kind of look reminiscent of what you'll find in Sanctuary and Fallout 4. If you look hard enough, some of them are kind of based on those areas. So I'll just show you one more. Like you'll see this one's a little bit more similar, as you can see. That whole rusted vibe and look. So all of these ruined houses are different, and they'll just all spawn randomly scattered across the world. So the more you explore, the more you'll actually find just random things like this, with just loot inside everywhere. So it's kind of like you're playing a zombie survival mod pack in here. Obviously without the zombies. I'm sure they'll add ghouls soon as well, because what I noticed that was missing missing from the mobs when we used the spawn eggs earlier is there was no ghouls. Imagine exploring the world, finding these structures and just feral ghouls everywhere. Also, this over here is called Scorched Earth. So this is technically a structure, but it does blend in, so you'll have to keep your eye out for the particles if you are looking for this. Kind of like magma blocks. Now, these will be tricky to find, but if you do go underground, you might actually find what is called shelter in game. So this is a structure. If you're wondering what a shelter is, well, as you can probably tell from this huge labyrinth underground, it's actually a vault. Now, I'm going to try and find the vault entrance for you guys. As you can see, this is the vault entrance out here. So if you did find this naturally, and you're exploring a cave, and you happen to come upon a vault entrance, which is called a shelter in this mod, then you would find this entrance, okay? You'll actually find loot outside the entrance too. There'll be useful loot anyway, even if you can't enter. For example, they do have some useful items here, like stim packs, for example, for health. And these are just found in like random caves, so you'll have to burrow underground to actually find these. Now, I'm not sure if this block here, smooth bricks and everything which builds up this vault, I'm not sure if they're invulnerable, like indestructible blocks, kind of like bedrock, so I'm not sure if you can mine through them manually. But when you do come in, you'll find a panel. Typically, you won't be able to do anything with the panel, but if you do have a Pip-Boy, then you will actually be able to use the panel. Now, when you're in survival mode, you need a Pip-Boy to actually access this door. Now, if we just right-click normally with the Pip-Boy, like we did earlier on the buttons, the reason why it didn't work is because you do actually need to put it in the correct slot. I believe you do need a mod, so you can actually have the bracelet slot to put this in order to use it. And if you haven't played many mod packs before, you should know that you need to install Curios to do this. Now, I don't have Curios enabled right now because I wanted to show you what it's like without Curios, which is basically impossible to open the door, because without the Curios mod, we can't unfortunately actually use the Pip-Boy. Now, when you do have Curios enabled, like I've just enabled it now, you'll see a little icon here next to your character. Now, I'm in creative, but it'll be the same in survival mode. You'll see the same icon, you just click it, and then it should open up a slot where you can actually put things in it with this mod. Curious is an API, right? So it just means that developers of mods can enable it for certain features for accessories. So in Fallout, in Nukacraft, in this particular mod, the only slot they actually need is the bracelet slot. So you'll only see the bracelet slot, and then we can just pop in the Pip-Boy. And now you can see it's wearing it just like it was before, but it's not in our inventory. And now we can right click and look, the vault door actually opens. So now we can enter the vault. So now we're in the shelter. We can also right click to close the vault door. So just think about how cool this would be on multiplayer if we have our own vault and we just hide from people inside here. We can be our own vault overseer. We can wear the overseer outfit if we really want to roleplay. In fact, I'm even, because I died and I completely forgot, I'm going to put back on my vault jumpsuit so I'm actually looking the part, and then we're going to go explore. So this is obviously possibly the biggest structure, so this is going to take us some time to actually show you what's inside. But I'm going to show you every single room. This is the first time I've discovered one of these structures in the mod, and I can tell you there's some pretty incredible stuff. We have a computer over here, and it's just bringing back all those memories of Fallout 3. The vault structure reminds me the most of Fallout 3, but the mod as a whole, I really do think they've got more inspiration from Fallout 4. This definitely looks like Fallout 3 when you're in that vault with your father and you're like having a birthday party, and then sometimes you'll just hit a dead end. If you do go through to spectator mode, you'll know you can't directly go through these walls, so there are certain limits to them. This thing is like a labyrinth, right? And some of the rooms like this look eerily the same, so you can definitely just get lost. But you can find some pretty useful blocks in here. There's also going to be loot, so if you keep looking. There's also these cryo chambers. You can't go in these, or at least I don't think you can. But if you played Fallout 4, when you wake up in the cryo chamber, in fact, there's a guy in here. How creepy is that? He's just chilling and it's open, but he's just like half dead or something. I don't know what's going on. We definitely don't want to be inside there, because we might be a victim of the raiders who come like kidnap us from the cryo chambers. And there's also lights throughout the facility to toggle on, because some places are like really dim. But to find what you're looking for, it's just a case of just walking around. Now, the useful thing about these lights is some places they're not lit up. You can then turn the lights on and you'll know that you've been there. I don't know if that's what they intentionally did, but there's so many rooms and hallways that you kind of forget where you've gone. The mod authors have done an absolutely fabulous, brilliant job with all of this stuff. There's even this eerie storage room down here that looks like it could be like the area where Minecraft horror mod would take place. Luckily, I haven't got any installed, because that wouldn't end well. well. And of course, it looks like there's buttons on certain things. We can't interact with everything that looks like a button, even though we do have a Pip-Boy. If you did wonder why we couldn't press certain things earlier, it's because, like I said, you need to enable Curios and you need to have a Pip-Boy equipped, and then we can interact with most of the building things. This is the vault. It's got a crazy amount of rooms, and this is probably going to be one of the hardest structures to actually locate in the mod. But when you do, you're going to have plenty of stuff to do, I'll tell you that for free. Now, you'll notice that there's no mobs in here. I think this might be the last room. I think we might have explored it now. This looks like the same as the entrance, but we haven't been here. So I'm now just going to go in spectator mode, see if there's anything we've missed. You'll see there's also things like hidden redstone torches and circuitry, which they've actually done a pretty good job of hiding. I don't think we've been here. I'm not sure. There's a little bathroom over there. There's just so many rooms. Okay, yeah, there's definitely some things we missed over there. We can go check those out. I think this is the only side we haven't been down, so let's just go take a look at this, right? So I'm pretty sure this is the hydroponics section. There was definitely some farming stuff as well, which is down here where they can grow food. I'm not sure if anyone's been a long time viewer of this channel, but ages back I made this video building the ultimate security bunker in Minecraft, where I used security craft and loads of these mods to make like a bunker underground, and I made like a farming room and all these different survival rooms. This is literally that, but 100 times better than what I built. This is just incredible. So if you want a full underground self-sustaining survival structure, then this mod is just the thing to install. This is just pretty incredible. There's an overseer chest there where you can take some loot from. There's some kind of tree that's grown up here. If we go down as well, another floor which we didn't check out, there's also a dark room which is just like, I guess, the pipe room. There's some more loot. Here's a closet we did go in earlier, but I missed this room, which, as you can see, there's lanterns and stuff up there. But if we right click, we can go inside this place. I think this is another storage closet too, but it looks like a prison door. Unless yeah, this isn't a prison, but it looks like it. But these are the vaults, and if you want to locate it, all you do is just go on the list and then you find the shelter and then you can find it. Also, I haven't played Minecraft for so long, so someone's gonna have to tell me. I'm not sure if this is the wasteland generation system we're on, or if this is like what the Minecraft caves look like now, because I know Minecraft caves are huge, but I do not remember these stone pillars on the ground. These look super cool. Maybe these are part of a structure, I do not know. Then we also just have some toxic sludge on here as well. You're definitely gonna get a few rads for stepping in that. So this is the ultracite rift. You may have seen these earlier when we spawned in the world. There is a few variants of these as well. So we have ultracite tough ore. We also have ultracite crystals, which I guess we can mine in the mod. And then you might also see some scrap blocks nearby these as well. But all in all, that's all of the structures in the mod. There is some really nice looking biomes here. What I do want to mention though is if you do want to access these biomes, you do have to use the custom world generator, which is called Wasteland, whenever you make a new world. Otherwise, nothing will spawn. You won't get the biomes or structures. So you do need to play on the custom world gen type if you do want to play the content from the mod. So the first one's Ash Heap. You can just see the divide of where there's some really vibrant green colors, where life is just trying to hold on for dear life next to that red autumnal biome. And then this is just the Ash Heap, where we just transition and we just have this pure black biome just full of like all this ash and silt, and it just looks super dark and corrupted. I must say though, the biome blending at the edges actually looks really good. Like the shades of grass just go slowly down the RGB color palette and they just really blend well. You might just see that at the edges of the biome. It's quite impressive. And you've got all these dead trees on the edge of it. But this is actually the ash biome I mentioned here. This one with a toxic sludge pool in it. And there's a giant ravine which just goes down what just seems like the complete center of the earth. The red one is actually called the Cranberry Bog, which sounds kind of like a horrible name because it actually looks nice. I'm not sure if there's specific mobs that spawn in specific biomes, but I think this is probably one of the prettier ones. I mean, there's even water which doesn't look like it's irradiated. And then also the glow sea here. So if you wondered what the glow sea is, if you haven't played Fallout, it's basically just a really irradiated zone. In Fallout 4, there's basically quite a few missions where you have to go to the glow sea and walk through it, and you can see this massive big dust cloud of just irradiated ash. That's basically what the glow sea is. It's just a very toxic radiated zone where you can barely see anything unless you get really close to the surface of the water, for an example. There's just completely barren land. So this grey beige kind of biome, which has all this rock and dead trees on it, which was kind of on the edge of the ash biome, this is called Poison Valley. So there's scrap, there's dead trees, there's all of this rock over here. Kind of looks like a world that Herobrine's left behind in normal Minecraft if you're into the whole creepypasta vibes. So over here you might find ash wood, and you'll also find ash stone. And then the final biome is this nice lush green one, which is called the Savage Divide. Now, when I look at this, I don't really think it's exactly savage. I actually think this is probably the most vibrant and nice biome of few that we've had a look at. In fact, this one seems a lot more habitable than whatever's surrounding it. It looks like there's just an island that's uncorrupted, and then the rest is just kind of like all these different worlds trying to corrupt it in the middle. It's kind of like we're in Terraria right now. I feel like this is the Crimson. Then here we have some Hallow, and then over here is just, I don't know, something from a mod. But those are all the biomes. There's some pretty good variations of them in this mod as well, and I'm sure they'll probably end up adding some more in the future, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, so now it's the time for weapons. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just spawn tons of raiders again so we can test these guns on them. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the melee weapons first. We have a cleaver, we have a wrench, a shiv, a box gauntlet, which seem to do a lot of damage, a rolling pin. You can just be a mum like chasing a kid with a rolling pin, a cane, we've got a baseball bat, even got a sledgehammer, we've got the super sledge, which is like electrified, Atom's Judgment. Jeez, well, that was underwhelming. Jet bat, baton, if you want to go full vault security, commie whacker, combat knife, cosmic knife, lead pipe, which doesn't even have a model. They definitely need to fix that. Got a crowbar. The golf driver also doesn't have a model. Ew, what's this on that tree? That's horrible. Got a razor blade. We've got a hatchet, which we can't throw. Homemade spear. We can throw that. Got a fire axe. Tire axe. We've got a spiked baseball bat. We're feeling like Negan off The Walking Dead here. Got a machete, a liberator, which I guess just is a fancy machete, I guess. Got a katana, nuka break. Oh, it's just a sign and a pipe wrench. Alright, let's move on to the guns. I also just want to mention there's loads of gun parts on here as well. I'm not going to equip those because those are just for the gun bench itself to build them. Okay, so now is where we get into the real fun, where we kill some of these raiders. It's just like when we have villagers, they just make those annoying grunt sounds. So we'll start off with a pipe pistol. We're going to start off with all the cheap weaponry, but then we're going to work up. Okay, there's not much range on that. Then we're going to work up and we're going to pack a real punch. We're going to shoot them with things like the Fat Man. So the pipe pistol has kind of bad range. We can't use it long range, but the damage is not too bad. Got the Colt 6520. Now we do need to reload all these. Thank God I'm in survival mode. Thank God I'm in creative mode. Okay, that's pretty beefy. The Scout 10mm. So these are all kind of rusted variants, like pipe guns and rusted guns. Now the pipe revolver is terrible. Black powder rifle. Okay, we're going back to the old Civil War times here with these muskets. Okay, for how long it took to load that as well, it was still a 2-shot kill. Gatling laser. Okay, let's put a chain on. Yeah, we do need time to wind this up. For some reason the lasers are coming out of my mouth or my eyes. It's like I'm Cyclops or something of X-Men. Broadsider, wait, which one's this? I think this is a mortar launcher, right? I can't remember that from the game, but that's pretty cool. It takes 4 mortars to kill a super mutant, though. That's kind of bad. Oh my god, okay, Fat Man. Right, I don't want to kill all of them, but I feel like I might do by accident. This is a mini nuke launcher, so you need mini nukes to fire this. Oh my god, you even see the little mushroom cloud on it as well. That's so cool. Yeah, it is a mini nuke because it only destroys like a small area. Let's launch another one. Oh my god, all the particle effects. Look at that. Okay, that was incredible. And all the blocks dropped as well. Could this be like a secret way to just strip mine instead of having to use a pickaxe? It's like cheat unlocked. What about a normal minigun? Not a laser one. This is the one you use in the power armor suit, by the way. Okay, that's pretty cool. We don't have iron sights though with the miniguns, but it kind of makes sense. It'd be kind of hard to lift it unless you were literally Superman. Okay, we're on some of the last weapons now. Look at those reload animations. Oh, we've got the shotgun, which is a 2-shot kill. We've got the laser rifle. Oh my god, that was sick. I will say, I think these guns are really cool. I think this is a really cool gun mod. We've even got the laser pistol, loading a few of them fusion cells. But I'm actually going to say it, there's a Fallout weapon pack for the TAC-Z gun mod, which I featured in my last gun mods video. Go check that out on the channel. And I think that is actually better than this. I did actually like those more. But the mod author's done a great job though. Oh my god, look at the flamethrower. He's done a great job though with these weapons. But I think that one is just a little bit better. Especially because all the weapons aren't rusted. One thing I don't like about this is it's very Fallout-esque. But not every weapon in Fallout's rusted. That is kind of annoying. Okay, missile launcher. Okay, it didn't do as much damage as the mini nuke, but we did fire like 2 or 3 mini nukes. Does a lot of damage just for a rocket launcher though, right? Oh my god, Tesla launcher. Tesla rifle. Look at that iron sight. Oh yeah, it's like an electric gun. Very Institute-esque. Well, I've not played Fallout 4 for months. I think I played it like 4 or 5 months ago before I was traveling. And I haven't played the old Fallout games for ages. Okay, now is the time for grenades. So we've got a whole bunch of grenades. So let's try all these nades out. So these are the normal nades. We right click to hold. And then it throws them. And then obviously we have to wait a few minutes for them to fuse. Then we have holy grenades. I don't know why they've got holy hand grenades in the Fallout mod, but... Okay, they did some pretty big damage. What about incendiaries? I love how when the nade actually hits them, the nade's a projectile itself. Let's see if we can do that again. Yeah, you can just throw nades at them and just hurt them as well. But even before it explodes. Flame floater, okay, that packed a lot of heat. What about this one? Toxic floater. Does this like release a toxic cloud of something? Yeah, it just steams them in toxic steam. What about the baseball nade? Okay, we hit a pretty big home run with that one. Stun grenade. Oh, okay, that was a flashbang. I did not like that. I did not like that. Wait, 10mm pistol. Did I forget about this? Oh, I literally forgot about it. And it looks the best as well. It sounds the best. Has the best animations. Oh my god. But yeah, there's also tabs for food. I don't want to go over these too much, but you do have stim packs and super stims as well, which give you more health. And you do have Nuka-Cola, Nuka-Cola Ice, Nuka-Fruity Ice, and Nuka-Fruity. Although what I'm curious about is they don't have Nuka-Quantum, which is those blue ones. I'm really disappointed. They need to add that. There's also a miscellaneous tab with things like paint. They'll have all the ingots for things that you mine as well. There's a whole lot of other items here. We also have plants and flora and all the vegetation from the biomes. So there's a lot of content in this mod, and for anyone who's interested about the building blocks, you can spawn the door control panels, you can spawn the technical terminals, you can spawn the assembly workbench to make guns. There's also the Nuka cola machines as well, so we can literally just have our own fridges and put the Nuka colas inside. As for the ores, they have lead, we also have uranium ore, we have black titan ore, quartz ore, silver ore, aluminium, ultracite, which we saw earlier, ultracite tough, raw lead, raw aluminium, all the raw types of ores as well. So we've got a lot of different building blocks over here. The nuclear generators we saw in the bunker. All these building blocks where you could go ahead and use them all to make your own Fallout builds as well. So this is also going to be good for creative builders for this mod. But that, my friends, is the Fallout Nukacraft mod. So if you did like this mod, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe, and definitely check it out if you want to cause some mayhem in a power armor suit. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Drop any comments below if there's other cool mods, or maybe even a better Fallout mod you want me to try next, and check out one of these 2 videos next that you're probably gonna love.